They take their dear old time to get you that document. We have 15 days. They have it on their computer sitting there ready, but they will wait till the 15th day to say send, which is unreal to me.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, well, we're less than 10 days, 10 days away, 15 days away, 14 days away. Math was clearly not my strong suit. 2 weeks away, 14 days from Christmas.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It always creeps up on you every single year.
I'm telling you, this year especially, because Thanksgiving was late, and literally like Thanksgiving ran into the first day of December, that weekend, right? And I'm like, holy crap, there's only 25 days left till Christmas. So it creeped up for sure.
So in today's episode, we're getting our wish list together for Santa, Santa Claus, for Klaus. By the way, Netflix movie Klaus, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
It's very good. It's animated, so it might be kid-friendly as well. So we're getting our list, a wish list together. And this won't be, hey, we wish for more inventory, or hey, we wish for lower interest rates, because of course, right? Everyone wishes for that. This one's going to be a little more unique, a little more in the trenches. So Shawn, you've got a little bit longer of a list than I do. Why don't you start off with something from your list that you wish for Christmas in the real estate market?
Okay. I wish, Matt, my biggest wish right now is I just wish that the public, the keyboard warriors, NVAR, the associations, and maybe the DOJ actually knew how hard this job is. And I don't know, I'm not saying that to, say, oh, like we do such a... This is a very difficult job. This is a very difficult line of work, and people don't understand what actually goes into this job day to day. And, we are marching around, number one, trying to get good reviews. So what are we doing? We're trying to run to accommodate people's schedules, and we're giving up our own schedules to accommodate those people. Not only that, I mean, do you know the psychology that goes behind purchasing a house and how many times we have to talk people off a cliff or, say, hey, listen, it's not that bad, or just relax a little bit. You're going to be okay. I mean, there is a big psychological event to that. And, the other thing is we don't have health insurance. We get paid by commission. We don't have a wealth plan or a retirement plan or anything like that. So all the money that you say that we make, these big TV shows can make it look very glamorous and glorious, and look how much money they make. Well, yeah, you can make a lot of money if you kick your butt day to day for years and years and years to become the best. But there are a lot of agents that fall out of this thing because they get in thinking the money's going to be great, but they don't realize how hard you have to work, what kind of connection you have to have with people, and the push, the drive that you have to stay on top of things day to day. When people are down, you have to be up. When you're down, you have to get yourself back up. You have to pick yourself up every day to say, oh man, I don't feel like showing properties in the rain. I don't feel like showing properties in the snow. But you know what? You better get there, because that's how you're earning your living. And if you don't, you're not going to succeed. So I just wish that the people that come after our commission, the people that say that we're paid too much, I wish they knew how hard we work every day and the sacrifices we make.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these shows on Netflix, like Botox and Bungalows and those types of shows, they've really done quite the collateral damage on real estate commissions when they put up the flashy commission in the bottom right corner with, the high heels and the hair and the nails and the makeup and all that stuff. It's really like right around that 2019 to 2021 era of just giving real estate agents a bad rap of, hey, they just show up in their, leased white BMW and get the commission.
And not only that, they look bratty, right? These agents look like high and mighty. They're dressed to the nines. They're pulling up in their thing. They're getting their Botox. It's so annoying, and it's so not real estate. Real estate is about being in the trenches. It's about succeeding. It's about making friends in real estate, making friends in other real estate agents, treating everybody fairly, and succeeding together through this tough business that we're in. And the other thing, like if you compare it to the other shows that are out there, like the renovation shows, and people are like, oh, I can renovate a house, let's go do it. And then they find themselves paying a mortgage, and they find out all the pitfalls to that. there are pitfalls in real estate as being a real estate agent. And I wish that people knew how hard it was.
You bring up renovations. I really want to renovate my 1800s Virginia Country Cottage Airbnb.
Yeah.
But it's one of those properties, and you probably know these types of properties where it's like, oh, let me just redo the siding, and then you take the siding down, and then the substrate is molded.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I would just have to rebuild the entire house.
That's exactly it.
That's why I either want to not renovate it or leave it to the professional.
Yeah, and you never know once you pull off that board. You think that it's going to be easy, and then you get into it, and you're like, oh no.
All right, Shawn, let me start my list.
Okay,
and I'm going to do a
hear it.
little bit of a hot take, and I don't think you're going to agree with me.
Okay.
So, well, maybe you will. My wish list is I wish for missing middle. Okay?
I was going to go, I wish.
But here's
that
the comma.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
There's a comma after that.
Okay.
Now, I paused for a very long time. You think there's a period. There's a comma after it. So I wish for missing middle on very large roads in Arlington. So on your Route 50, on your Glebe Road, on your Washington Boulevard, on your Route 29. Like, I would literally pick 10 roads, maybe less, maybe more, 10 roads, and I would say, yes, you can do a duplex. Yes, you can do townhouses. Yes, you can do a sixplex. What I would not do is cast an entire blanket over the county and say, oh, you're 5 miles away from the metro? Sure, you can do apartments on this piece of land. Oh, you're in this single-family house neighborhood where a quadplex would never make any sense? Sure, you can go for it in the name of equity. I wouldn't do that. I would somehow, in this magical fairy tale world that we're living in, episode that we're doing, I would do missing middle on 10 roads. They'd be the 10 largest roads in Arlington where builders wouldn't really want to build a large single-family house anyways. And that's a great way of getting in higher density at a lower price point, and you get your missing middle.
Yeah, no, I think, it's funny because I almost put that on my list as the opposite. But you said main roads, and I agree with you. I think main roads are the answer to that. I don't think putting it into the middle of a neighborhood is the answer. And my wish on that was to listen to the people that actually own the single family homes, not the people that rent or own condos or own townhouses, because they're on a different level and they don't really care. And that's the majority of the people in this area. So like, listen to the people that actually own the single family homes and ask them why they wouldn't want that, So anyways, I agree with that.
Look at that.
Yeah, we agree. See that?
Look at that.
All right.
Shawn agrees on missing middle. Wow, shocker. All right, so let's, you want to hit one of yours?
Yeah, Matt, all right, so we deal in Arlington with a lot of condo sales, and there's HOA sales. And one of the wishes I have is that these management companies, when we go to order a disclosure package, right? So when we're a seller, we're representing a seller, we have to order a disclosure package, and that says the rules and regulations of the HOA or the condo, and we have to deliver that package to the buyer. Now, state law, I believe there is a maximum that they can charge, okay? And say it's $325, okay? That might be the maximum. But what they do that drives me crazy, and I wish that they knew what stress is involved in this, is they say, we'll have it to you in 15 business days. Do you know how long 15 business days? That's 3 weeks to get your disclosure package. And a lot of times we are running to get this property on the market and get it under contract quickly. And what they do is they say, okay, well, if you want it quicker, you can pay $50 extra as a rush fee. And then, if you want it even quicker than that, you can pay $25 more to get it within 3 business days. Do you know what they have to do to get that disclosure package? They literally drive by the house, make sure that it's okay, or they go up into the condo unit, walk through it for 5 minutes, make sure everything is okay, and then they write the report quickly. They already have the PDFs ready for the entire, neighborhood or condo building. They already have that stuff. All they have to do is the unit inspection or the drive by the house to say, yeah, everything is in compliance. So why can't I get that in 1 day? Why can't there be a rule instead that says, hey, you have to get this within 5 days? Because now what they do, every one of them does this. They take their dear old time to get you that document. We have 15 days. They have it on their computer, sitting there ready, but they will wait till the 15th day to say send, which is unreal to me. Mm-hmm. And so I wish they would stop taking that entire time and just say, hey, it's ready, let's send it. And I've caught agencies, I've caught them doing this, where I've ordered different packages in different ways, and they sent them both to me at the same time. Like, oh, we weren't supposed to send that one. Like literally they hold them.
Wow.
And it's crazy to me. And I wish they knew what, they ask who the buyer is. We don't have the buyer yet. We're ordering them in advance to try to get them at a reasonable time so that our contract isn't contingent for a long period of time. For the buyer to review those documents.
It takes them 14 days to drive by the house, and then if they're in the condo, it takes them 14 business days to take the elevator upstairs.
Exactly.
To make sure that the microwave's on its own circuit. It's ridiculous. It's the condo cartel. It's the HOA management cartel of just trying to squeeze the extra dollars out of you, when they boot you out.
Yep.
A recent law had changed where now you have to pay for it up front, and you can't pay for it at closing. I guess not every deal was going to closing, and then the management companies were out the fee. I understand that. It's still a hassle. And then, if you're going to pay almost $350 up front, you would expect to have that back within 14 business days, but realistically, like within the same week.
Yeah, and there's so many times, and I understand paying that fee up front now. It's fine. A lot of the companies, if you're with a big management company, there are websites where you just push that link off to your client. Your client pays it by credit card. But there's times where I have to go with a check into an office and hand them a check, and then my client reimburses me or whatever. It's a pain. But
did you get in a time machine when you did that?
Yeah.
To 1989.
And not only that, some like will give me a thumb drive. Some will PDF
You're gonna give
them.
you. I hope you're not taking a random thumb drive from someone.
I have to take a thumb drive, brother.
Dude, that's like security, computer security like 101.
That's the way some do it.
Don't take a thumb drive from a stranger.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, let me go on to one of my items.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, here's the deal. Videos in the MLS. My wish list, I wish for videos to be allowed in the MLS. And you may say, but wait, they are allowed. Okay, here's the deal. They are allowed if no one's in them, if you upload it to like a Vimeo, which no one watches, or like a Google Drive, which is extremely difficult to share. And then you can't be in them, you can't have any people in them, and you can't have any signs in them. So it's essentially useless the way that it currently is. And during COVID, they allowed videos in the MLS, and everyone loved it. And now that we're out of COVID, Bright MLS is saying, well, it could be a violation. They could think that you represent all the houses in the MLS. They could think that, oh, there's a suggested YouTube video, so let me click on that. It is ridiculous that videos are not allowed in the MLS. Shawn, there was a time, before my time, that in the MLS, there were no pictures. And then there was a time where you could have one picture. And then there was a time where you could only have 30 pictures. And then there was a time where you could only have a certain number of characters. And now you can have, 100 photos, right? You can have many characters, right? You can write, a novel, basically. And I think we're going to look back and say, Shawn, there was a time, right now we have pictures, but we don't have moving pictures. What's the downside of including videos in the MLS? There is no downside, okay? So my wish is for videos to be included on the MLS so that it'll be syndicated to the Redfins, the Zillows, the Trulia, like sites where people actually look. Okay, right now we have the photos, we have the 3D tours. Why not the video?
100%. And Matt is always forward thinking on video. I'll tell you, Matt doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but Matt was one of the pioneers of video in this area. He started doing videos on condos back in this is 10 years ago. Matt started doing this. And then Matt was like pushing me. He's like, Shawn, you got to do video. And about 7 years ago, I started doing videos and we started doing fun, creative things, but we could never share them on the MLS. We could put a link or something like that in the description and say, hey, go see this video. But, we were he was definitely a pioneer. I followed his lead on that and finally, 7 years ago started doing them. And now, everybody is doing video. Everybody is out there doing these crazy videos, fun videos. And it's fun. At times I'm like, all right, I've seen this kind of video like 9,000 times. But, I think it's a benefit to people to be entertained about real estate. It's not always this dry, stupid, crazy stuff. And if you look at certain things that get attention, how do you get your property attention? There's a guy that takes a picture of himself in an elf suit and like hides behind a door or something like, or he's naked in his pictures, which isn't the greatest, right? But it's getting attention to your listing. And so how do you attract attention to your listing? It's by video, by doing creative things. And if those aren't allowed for the public to see them in the syndication of our MLS, I think it's a downside for sure. So
there's got to be a way to put a video on the MLS where you're abiding by fair housing laws. You're not grossly misrepresenting the property. You're not doing any sort of vulgar acts. I mean, this is like a publicly facing, thing that's going out. And there's got to be a way. There just has to be a way. And I think in 2025, I'm going to spend some of my precious time, Shawn, and maybe write a couple emails, maybe fill out a couple feedback forms, maybe push a little bit just so I can understand the reasoning of, oh, it was okay during COVID, but now it's not okay. Like, we're going to make an exception, but now we're not going to make the exception. Okay, well, why'd you make the exception? Oh, well, people couldn't see the houses, so videos were a good way to show them the house.
Huh.
Oh, videos were a good way to show the house?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we keep finding good ways to show the house. Maybe that.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And another thing is, why aren't a picture of somebody's sign or a picture of the agent or whatever allowed in their listing documents?
Good point.
I understand that you don't want it to take over every picture, but why not? Because if it's about consumers knowing who is listing and what person is listing and who's doing the listings around the area, wouldn't it behoove them to show them in the pictures that, hey, there's a picture of this sign and this person's doing a lot of business in there. That's great. Because why? Why do you think that happens? It's because then the big animals can't make their money on saying, oh, call this agent. Oh, call this agent. Oh, if there's a sign of some agent on Zillow, they're not going to be able to sell that listing to a buyer's agent. And that's probably why it's not allowed. But I think it should be allowed. And, why is everything controlled by money? It shouldn't be. It should be about who's doing the business. Let one picture of a sign. I think it should be fine. I don't understand why it's not there. And, let us live. Stop putting all these rules on people. And if we find out that there's problems with that, then you limit it, or then you change it in some way. But I don't think there's a problem with showing somebody's sign.
Agreed. All right, Shawn, you got another one from your list.
Oh, geez. Hold on.
All right, well, then I'm going to go. You missed it. All right. So next one on my list is deadlines that actually mean a deadline. Okay, so we talked about this at length, so not going to beat the dead horse too much, but you get the idea. Offers are due Monday at 5 p.m. Property goes under contract on Sunday. Meanwhile, I've told my clients, go stop by the Sunday open house that is now canceled because the property is under contract, and say, don't worry about it. We have time. Enjoy your kid's birthday party, and you can see it tomorrow, and then we'll regroup Monday morning. We have until Monday at noon or whatever I said in this example. Then all of a sudden the listing agent says, well, the seller reserves the right to accept. Yeah, of course, the seller always reserves the right to accept any willing and able offer. But if you're going to go and tell other professional colleagues of yours that you will not take an offer until a certain point, stick to that. And if you're not into that, if you don't like the deadline, then don't set the deadline. Don't do it. And then if you're kind of like in the middle, just receive the offer and say, hey, great, we'll be back to you by Monday at 8 p.m. Where you're kind of like informally saying, yeah, we're going to be back to you in like 2 days, which is kind of like super annoying, but it still sets the expectation, thank you, that you're going to be waiting until a certain point. But when you do the rug pull, when you do the, hey, you have time, oh, by the way, we're actually under contract, that's what's on my wish list.
Yeah, that's a good wish. There's nothing more frustrating than getting instructions from an agent and saying that to your clients, hey, we have time, and then maybe holding off a showing or something like that because life happens and people are doing things. And so you're like, all right, we have a little bit of time. Let's just wait. We'll go tomorrow when you're not at your birthday party. And then all of a sudden you get that text or call, or not even, you just get the notification.
You never get the call or text.
Yeah, it's usually just bing. Oh, it's what? It went under contract?
No, it's your client telling you.
Yeah,
it's your client telling you.
Exactly. What happened? You told me it was going to be this way. You said that it wasn't going to, I wanted this house. And then you're blamed for it. And that's what happens. And again, that goes back to this job is hard. Because you in the end sometimes get blamed for things like that when it's not your fault.
Well, what's the other side of that? Oh, you should have submitted the offer earlier.
Yeah,
right.
Well, that could be, but I mean, there are things that some people want to do prior to submitting their offer to do their due diligence to write the best offer that they can.
Look, you can always submit the offer earlier, right? You can always see it, submit the offer, see it. But
You
when
can always change your offer.
you can always change the offer. But when there's a set expectation that nothing will happen, like there's a standstill. Yeah, I mean, sure, you should have submitted like a higher offer, bro. But at the same time, it's like, why set that expectation if you're not going to meet it?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what kind of reputation is that agent going to get?
It's hard. I mean, I've been on both sides of this where, I set a deadline and then what happens is maybe you're not getting the showings that you thought you were going to, or you're calling the agents. They're like, yeah, we're not interested. And you're like, oh geez, I just set a deadline and I might have one. And then you get that one and you're like, and they put a deadline of their own. And you're like, all right, well, I'm not getting what I thought I was going to get. And so maybe I need to take this, So,
I might reach out to the showing agents and be like, hey guys, like, are you serious? We may move some things up.
There's some due diligence that you can do, and then you can reset expectations, but you have to be communicating with those people to make sure that everybody understands.
Right. All right. Did I give you enough time to get the next one on your list?
I have one. I wish that somebody out there, either our associations or it's probably our associations, would stop selling us out. I wish that, these, how many texts, calls, emails a day do you get from health insurance companies?
By the way, not to hijack your point,
Yeah.
but since the United CEO was unalived last week, I've gotten like 3 texts that say, can I get you quotes from UHC or like whatever it is?
Oh, wow.
And I really
That
wanted
same company?
I really wanted to text back. It's like RIP, like time and place, like read the room.
Exactly. But people don't understand the aggravation that we go through from cold callers, cold texters, cold emailers about knowing that we're in the real estate market. Yeah, we're putting ourselves out there, right? We have to market ourselves as real estate agents. But at the same time, somebody sold us out, and I don't know who it was, but it might have been one of our associations. I don't know. But they know that we don't have health care. They know that we are trying to find health care that is affordable for our family. So what happens? They are constantly saying, hey, this is coming up. I get literally 3 to 5 texts a day from different companies. Hey, this is a real person. I'm a real person. No, you're not. You're just a bot saying that you're a real person so that you can get me to respond to a stupid text. I already have health insurance. All right, I have it. I found it. I found a company that actually offers me discounted health insurance, and that's what I went with. It drives me nuts that I have to deal with this stuff every single day. Either an email, either a call, and I don't even answer my phone anymore. And half of my emails I'm just deleting constantly.
We're on so many lists.
It's ridiculous. So it's so frustrating when you're getting on these lists of people and they think that they're the only one and they think that they're the only game in town. And their sales tactics are the cheesiest sales tactics that salesmen have told the sales juniors to say, and they don't work. Stop using the cheesy sales tactics.
Are the cheesy sales tactics in the text or when you talk to them on the phone?
Any of it. I mean, I'm blanketing this.
You can't respond to the text because then you'll be like added to more lists because they know your phone's
At first,
active.
when I first got them, like, and they're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't probably do that, and then you start getting multiple texts from other people. But you never know what to respond to. It's like, if you don't want this communication, respond no. Right? All right. If I respond no, will I actually stop getting, or am I going to get it from everybody else? Because now they know it's a live human on that actual line. So I just wish that people would stop selling us out, stop calling us for health insurance, stop calling us to how many times have you gotten this email? Shawn, are you able to take 6 more leads a month in seller leads? Yeah. Okay. Whatever, dude. You're not going to give me 6 leads a month.
Not going to happen.
So stop sending me the text. It's just another line of bull that somebody's trying to sell us over and over and over again, and they just want our money, and that's really it. It's a tough thing.
All right, Shawn, I got one more.
Okay.
My thing that I wish for is a simplified escalation clause. Okay. So we've talked about this before. The escalation clause used to be so simple. Hey, I'm going to, increase my offer $1,000 over your offer up to a certain amount of price. Now that the percentage commission is a term of the contract, there's now an equation involved. Okay. So you have to, subtract some things, divide some things, and then the final net number is some, weird number that ends in a 1, 2, 3, like doesn't end in an even number. And it causes a lot of confusion, both on the listing agent side, if they're trying to add it up, or the buyer's agent side, if they're trying to figure out how much higher they need to increase. And it's leading to listing agents saying, I don't really want to do the math. Let's just counter them back at the highest escalation price or this escalation price. So my wish is for a simplified escalation clause, especially as we're starting to head into the spring market.
That's a great wish, because I was actually thinking kind of the same thing. I wish agents would take more time to learn how to compute the escalation clauses, because
That's not going to happen.
yeah, we know that's not going to happen. But as you were saying this, I thought of something.
What do you got?
I said, what if in that escalation clause that it was the buyer agent's responsibility to put the contract's net in the contract. All right. So this is our starting point. So by subtracting your agency commission, any credits that you want, you come up with your client's net, and then you escalate above that. So therefore, we're all on the same playing field as far as a net, and then it's a lot easier to compute that escalation.
I kind of like that. You
Yeah.
just thought of that right now?
I just thought of that as you were talking.
Look, the light bulbs are going off.
This is why we do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this could be
Maybe you
a
should
solution
email
to this.
NVAR.
Maybe I will. Maybe you do that.
You don't want to.
I don't want to email
You
NVAR.
just said you want to learn more about how they're selling us out and things like that.
I think the confusion would be like, oh, well, this isn't our price, but so there could be some confusion in price and net, and that's where we have to be careful. But I think that could be a good solution, right? I mean, because most listing agents aren't going to want to compute the net price of 11 contracts and then figure out where that is
Zero
escalation
chance.
goes.
Zero
It's
chance.
impossible. So my solution, buyer agents compute the net for the listing agent and submit the contract.
We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of thrown out escalation clauses, a lot of just hey, what's your best and final in the spring market.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
One quick
You
wish.
wanna do one more?
I'm
All right.
going to do one more.
Finish
and then
it
we'll
off
kind of
with one
finish it
more.
off. One more wish list is I wish that home inspectors were required to be HVAC technicians.
Ooh.
Yeah, because what always happens in a home inspection? The home inspector says, oh, this is beyond its normal useful life. The age of this needs to be replaced. And then we as agents have to now negotiate based on the fact that the home inspector just might have said, it's beyond its normal useful life, and now I think you should, who knows when it's going to die. Well, my parents had an HVAC system for 40 years in their property. You never know when that's going to break down. Yeah, the brand new one could break down tomorrow. The installer could have installed it incorrectly. You just never know. So I think to combat that, because of the years of stress that they've put us in, maybe they need to get another certification of HVAC tech.
And then does the buyer just want a new HVAC system? Is that what they're hearing?
Yeah, but sometimes they want a new HVAC system, and sometimes they hold dearly onto that, and they're like, it's going to cost me $10,000 to do this. I need $10,000. And we're like, no, sorry, it's working condition. It's, so what I do now every time is I have my HVAC inspector or a technician go to the property prior to putting it on the market. All right. And I have a clean bill of health every time for that HVAC system.
What if it's not a clean bill of health?
Then we got to fix it. That's the risk you take, right? Or you disclose that it's not working, right? So either disclose or fix. That's the problem. So if you think there's something majorly wrong, well, the buyer should probably know that, right? But the best way to combat it is do the HVAC inspection, costs $250, $350, something like that. And then you're saving yourself that negotiation in the long run, because you have that receipt that says, hey, this HVAC system, this HVAC tech was here last week. He's a reputable guy. And this is what he said. He said it's fine.
So for a recent condo sale, we did something sort of similar to that. There are routine, I think quarterly or semi-annually filter changes, and then they service it, make sure everything is good, and then give you a receipt. And so this HVAC is 25 years old. And so the person scheduled the inspection. I said, just so you know, the seller's not willing to fix anything wrong with the HVAC. To our knowledge, it's in working order. Here's the receipt of an inspection from last week that shows it's in working order. Even though the age is 25 years old, since it's in working order, we're not going to touch anything. So kind of a similar scenario to what you're describing.
Yeah, just be upfront about it. I mean, there are some buildings around here where these HVAC systems are 25 to 35 years old. But the thing is, they maintain them. They're good systems. Why replace a good system that has been working for so long? It doesn't make sense to do that, because these new systems aren't built the way those old systems were. So sometimes it's better just to leave that system in there, let it live as long as it can, and then when it dies, you replace it. Just because it's old doesn't mean it needs to be replaced.
They don't make them like they used to.
They don't.
All right.
My last wish is that everybody has an amazing 2025.
Oh, look at that.
See that?
Shawn Battle, man of the people. Well, let us know your wish list in the comments section below. If you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already. And for Shawn and myself, thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all the happy holidays, all of the holidays. And we'll see you then next time.
Take care. Yeah.
See you next time.
Thank you for watching.
All right. Bye.